Hi everyone, welcome back to CC Davis Studios. Well, I'm very excited today because we got the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 8 prompt and it is doily. So I love doilies, and in my 8 printers tray panels that I'm going to be doing, so to catch you up, I'll show you what the printers tray is looking like so far. It's just a mock-up. And then I'll show you what doily I'm thinking about using, and then some of the things that I've already cut up or collected, and start to maybe plan some of it out a bit. I'm trying not to be too specific about it or make any firm decisions because I know the girls are going to have different prompts at different times. But as I said, I've got 9 panels, so I'll be able to include the 20 prompts that they'll have. But I would like every panel to have every prompt on it, so we'll see how we go, because I would like to be able to finish them and move on to the next panel, but not really sure. So this is the size. It'll be 11.5 inches by 15 inches for each panel, so 9 of those. And I've made myself a little template because I really hate, dislike immensely, never say the word hate, really dislike having to measure, and it's not my forte. For someone who has dyslexia, and dyscalculia, measuring and those kinds of things are tricky, even though I am an educator. It's something that, you know, I would prefer to have a template for. So basically what I did was gridded it out into equal sections. I put a little notch in each part so that when I draw onto the calico or homespun, I think it's called in the US, once I draw onto the homespun, it's easy to then be able to grid it up. So each of the panels will be different. Each section will have different sections in it, just depending on what I feel like and what I find and what I make. So that's the template, 19.5 internal and length, height, and then width is 15 inches. And that's the internal measurement. And then I've got that plus underneath I have some blanketing. So I'll show you. So I have pinned together all of the different sections just with satin ribbon. It's really shiny. I think it might be coming across as really shiny on camera there too. So I will be dulling that down with my ink tents and with some possibly some sewing into it to make it look like wood grain on each of the joins. And I will miter the corners at the end. As you know, everything shrinks and changes as you sew into it. So I will leave these like that until I've done each section, and then I will sew it down. But as I go, I might change my mind. You never know, isn't that the fun of it? So these are the sections that I've done so far. There's really tiny sections, some bigger ones. If I don't like them or I need more space because I've got something else that I would like to make or include, then I'm going to take one out. And I've already got one that I'm intending on taking out and making bigger. So you can take these out, cut them off, and then sew back down. So shall we have a little play and see some of the things that I've collected to be able to add to each of them. So some of the things are gorgeous little printed material that I've just cut a few things out of, and I'll start by placing them down. I've had a little bit of a play already in some of the spacings that I want, and what I'll do eventually is they'll all be tucked underneath so that it'll be in each section, but I'll put some things in front, and each one of them will have shadows on this side and sort of down the sides a little bit to actually give it depth as well, so it does look like it's sitting on a shelf. So that's the sort of aim. There's some gorgeous little pieces of material that you can find, which is just so lovely. I was just so excited when I got home that I couldn't wait until I finished work to get out of my work clothes. So please excuse me. So all of these will pop underneath, and then I will sew and embellish into them, and other things will sit in front. So I'll show you one of the ones that I've got things sitting in front of. So this is like a little lotion bottle. Aren't they gorgeous? So that one I'm thinking maybe here. And they had other little like perfume bottles as well. And so I'm going to use either Whisper Weft, thanks Margie Margie goes, use Whisper Weft, it's really fantastic. And when I was at the Corinne's retreat, I sat next to Margie, beautiful Margie, and she gave me some to do one of my birds with. So, and this is that little owl. Do you remember I was sewing that owl? Look how teeny tiny he is. So I'm thinking owl could go there. So I might put something else up there, I might not, but that's where I'm going to put some shading. So it looks like that it actually is a shelf and they're back a little bit. And then I'll, you know, put them down and embroider them. So I might use the Whisper Weft to actually join all of those together so that it's easier then to sew it down as one lot and then embellish as I go. So that's the sort of aim. And I'll show you a little bit later of how I'm choosing to do some of that as well. So that one will go inside there, I think, maybe. I really want to do one section that's shells and the sea and those kinds of things. So I've got one little thing started for there. So as I go, I'll show you the sections that I do and we can have little close-ups of it. This one is all of the little swans. And remember I had a swan that I haven't sewn into yet. Where is he? And I'll add him as well. So I'll look for swans and, you know, possibly do some things down there as well. I want some mushrooms, but I'm not sure what they're going to look like or how they're going to look. So for now, I'll just put that in there, and then that can be a section on mushrooms. So I'm going to work each section, and I'll show you as I go. These ladies, look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? So I think the little ladies might go here, and they've got all the, I've got a Tim Holtz stuff, admit one. So they look like they're off to the opera or somewhere like that. So I might put that in there, and they look like they're off. And I might put a fan or some glasses, opera glasses or something down in this section as well. What else can I look at? I'll come back to that in a second. What about, here's another one. Isn't that gorgeous? So I might put, that's a long slim one here. Maybe there's another one of those little bottles that I showed you from that other piece of material. If you're interested in me showing you some of the materials that I have, I showed you some, but I've got a few others. Happy to show you as I go along, different materials that I pick up and that I might use, and I find them everywhere, all different types of things. It looks really fiddly, doesn't it? It's so much fun, I'm enjoying it. Remember this out of that doily? I cut it out. That doily was really damaged. A little ballet girl, because I used to do ballet, so I'm trying to choose things that I love, that I used to do, or I love perfumes and body lotions and yeah, things like that. So I tried to include things that I really enjoy and I really love. Remember this one? I said in our last session, I was saying I lived in China and Taiwan, so I would like some memorials of those kinds of things as well. So maybe maybe down here somewhere. That look all right there? What do we think? What do you guys think? Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe. Oh, do you remember this one I showed you last time that I was working on? So I might put him maybe in here, but I've got another off a doily, another little tree. I think he might be too big in there, so I might have to chippy choppy that off. Maybe I can make like a little, I don't know, trees and scene here in some way. Don't know, that might not work, so I might need to find some other trees or something like that, but you know, you're getting the idea. This is a photo of one of the Tim Holtz pieces of material, but I would really love to be able to print members of my family, like my grandparents who have both passed. A really similar photo I have of them and my parents when they were young, but I don't have a printer like that, and I'm not really sure how to get them printed or what to do about that. So if anyone has any ideas of how I can do that, I'd love to hear it, because I'd love to have some family members or something, you know, to make it really special. I forgot to mention this one. I love willow. Love blue willow. I don't like the what is it called? The flow one, the flow blue. I don't like them. I like the really pristine looking ones. Isn't that funny how we are? What else can I do? I've got these that I thought were just lovely. Look at that. Acme baking powder, and I love baking. It always reminds me of my nan. We used to bake together all of the time. She used to make everything just so wonderful, my nan. I hope she's proud of the person I have become. She didn't really see me grow up. She died when I was 15. Really informative time in my life. And I hope she's proud. Isn't that funny, the things that you think about? But yeah, baking and tins always remind me of my nan. She always had lots of them, and 19 cents. Geez, do you remember the days when things were 19 cents? My gosh. And then Venice tram. So my nan always said, you know, see the world, you know, life's for living. So Venice tram, I thought I'd put in there as well. Lucello, this is a beautiful piece of Lucello fabric. They've got amazing things. So here's gorgeous. Look, little, he's being pulled along on a log by butterflies. Isn't he gorgeous? So I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe there. Maybe there. And what else do I think of with childhood? I think of rocking horses. So maybe something like that, maybe not. I don't know. So maybe, isn't it fun to be able to think of different things? Maybe my little puppy can go in there. Remember I did a little puppy? No, he's too dark. Maybe the little teeny tiny bunny. I showed you last time, the little teeny tiny bunny. Oh, look, isn't he gorgeous? So maybe something like that. Don't love that there. I might take that away. Another piece of the Lucello fabric. Lucello is an amazing, do amazing things that, yeah, you want everything. If you've never had a look at Lucello stuff, you'll want it all. I don't know, maybe there. So I'd like to actually do some embroidery on that and maybe some more butterflies and fill that up, because I love that kind of specimen kind of look. This is another piece of fabric that I got in Harvey Bay. I think I showed you that last time. They had lots of little letters and stuff on it. So I thought maybe a bit of a writing theme. I love writing. I used to have pen pal. We stopped, we lost contact. But I love that kind of thing. I like sending mail to people and receiving happy mail. Do you? Don't we all love getting things in the mail? Queen Elizabeth. No, Queen Victoria. What am I saying? Queen Elizabeth. Queen Victoria. It's Canadian postage stamp. I'm not Canadian, I'm Australian, but close enough, hey? We're good friends, us are Canadians. And this was just these fond memories. And isn't that great? Like, to be able to have something like that maybe on a little shelf, and a little somebody writing as a pen pal. And this is a bit too cartoony, but as you said, you know, before, I could change that. So I think something that would be around games in our family. We love games. We love after dinner sitting around and playing games and just chatting. So I think something around games would be really great. But again, I don't know what the Roxy Girls prompts are going to be. So I'm hoping that all this will make sense and be good as part of it, but we'll have to see. But it's all open to shift. And then, speaking of the Roxy Girls, Rachel's beautiful material that I showed you last time, and this one reminds me of Jane Austen. Jane Eyre could be too, yeah. So, see how I said before, this is really big, and this section it could fit in. So I could take that out, cut that out, and then make a frame with lace, I think, to go around her. And then what I would do is embellish it. That's what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts? Does it look interesting? I'm going to fill up every section, and we can work together over time doing that. So it's Friday night here at the moment, and I just couldn't wait. It's been a long week, first week back of school, and I couldn't wait to talk about the prompt. So the prompt was doily. So remember this doily that I showed you? Isn't it beautiful? And it is so old. I don't know if you can see that. See how it's perishing? It's so thin and it's coming away. So I'm going to use some of that iron-on interfacing, and I think then can maybe use some of it in here, because I don't want to cut it up. So that might be my doily for this one. What do you think? Isn't it the most beautiful embroidery you ever did see? It's so tiny. So they're my thoughts so far. So it is Friday night, as I just said, and I'm going to go and make dinner for my family. And then tomorrow I will be able to sit down and start embellishing some of these and putting them together. So I'll leave you for now tonight, and you'll see me in a sec, and it'll be the next day for me, but it'll be a few seconds for you.